quit the job, focus on others, and put myself into that position where I had to do that.
Well, see, this is the interesting part, right? Because, again, like I said initially, I got almost, 23 years in law enforcement, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea of leaving so that I can come here and live with my family is more overwhelming than anything right now that I've ever experienced. I would have never thought in a million years I'd ever even be contemplating it, because there's a lot of, we have a pension, we've got medical insurance, we have all these different things that we've paid into for a long time, and losing out, what I would lose out on in that 4 years, right? It's very difficult for me to just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to find a way.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, because, look, I have a lot of clients that I life coach, and they're in the same position you are. Whether they're firemen or police officers or other jobs where they've got this pension looming over their heads. And I understand it 100% how important that is to work towards that and how meaningful that money would be. What I don't understand is when people are at a degree of unhappiness that holds them back. And so I took my situation at In-N-Out as a degree of unhappiness, because I transformed myself through the trip and learning about myself and not wanting to be a greedy, selfish bastard, and start giving back to others. And I knew that it was going to cost, it would require a major shift. And I didn't know it at the time, but my motto now that I've learned from my mentor, David Meltzer, is faith over fear. And every time I've put faith in the process or the goal or the dream or in myself, it wins out over fear every time. So that's I really believe in that, and that's really what my focus is now, is faith over fear every time it's come through for me.
Well, I tell you what, that is going out there on a limb, as I would call it, because that's the biggest thing that's holding me back right now, is the fear. It's the fear of making this move. It's the fear of, what am I going to do here? Am I going to be able to pay the bills? Is it going to be all for naught? Am I going to lose my house? And all that type of stuff. But anyway, enough about me. So you go to Lake Tahoe, faith over fear, minimum wage job. Pretty soon you make this transition and you're getting paid decently.
Yeah. Well, we have to have faith in our own abilities. And, I hate to keep coming back to that word, but, I'm a firm believer in, once you find success in your life and in a career, you know how to achieve that success, right? You've learned the secret of success. And people oftentimes think that that's like a magic book or a magic phrase or something. But really what it is it's your own drive and determination that puts you there. And knowing how to do that within yourself, the process of, okay, I'm taking a job, I'm going to give it 100%. You do the homework and you get better at that job and you see where the opportunities are. Understanding that about yourself, you can apply that anywhere you go. And I hate to trivialize the decision that you have to make and the decision that so many others have to make about where they're going in their life for happiness. But if you have faith in yourself and your abilities, you will rise to the surface. And that's exactly what happened to me in Tahoe. So in brief, the goal was, hey, just get there. I'm going to take a minimum wage job and, just focus on family and work hard, and whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. So I took a job fortunately, I got a supervisor role at the buffet, but it was part-time. Okay, so, here I'm working part-time, just stepped out of my...
At minimum wage.
At minimum wage, yeah. $150,000 job, your job in California. Now I'm making minimum wage at the buffet, supervising lobster night, But you know what? I worked my tail off. I was respectful to the employees, most of which were older than I was. I was new to the scene, and, people see what you're doing. They see the hard work that you put in, and within a month, I got promoted to VIP services. And most people don't know what that is unless you go to a casino an awful lot. But, when you're playing blackjack and that guy's in the suit behind the table and he goes, hey, sir, you've been gambling an awful lot. I'm going to buy you dinner tonight. Well, that's what I was doing.
You were the guy in the suit.
I was the guy in the suit. And the reason why they brought me over there is because they knew I was a hard worker. And I was in Lake Tahoe, and a lot of these big rollers would come in from Vegas. They'd fly their private jets and their families, and they'd get there, and the family wouldn't have anything to do. So they had me go out and take care of the family. So we went hunting and fishing and boating and hiking and snow skiing and all those things because I was younger on the roster of these VIP services guys.
You probably couldn't do that at In-N-Out, could you?
No, I couldn't do that No, I could not.
Yeah.
So, and then by the way, I worked hard there, and, I just gave the city and my transition everything I had. And I used to go to a bagel shop every morning. There was a real nice girl that worked there, outgoing personality, and she says to me one day, and by the way, you got to understand Tahoe too, a lot of hitchhikers up there and people that,
Oh, yeah.
you help each other out. And she says, hey, I got to go to the ski resort later to apply for, my position every year. They're hiring, today's the hiring fair. Do you want to go with me? Because I could really use a ride. And I said, no, I'll give you a ride. She goes, you should apply. You probably get a job there. Well, you know what? I took her up there and I applied and I got the supervisor role, running a couple of restaurants at the ski resort, which paid more than the casino did, even being at VIP. And within half of a season, the food and beverage director there left to go to Mammoth, and I took his job. So I became the food and beverage director at the ski resort. Now, the point of telling you all this.
Well, I'm glad you did tell me all this, because this is the stuff that's so intriguing to me about, I'm not humping your leg or anything like that right now, but it's like,
thank God.
This, you're not only a grinder and you work hard. I'm a grinder and I've worked hard my whole life, but this is that entrepreneur stuff that I have no knowledge of, right? I'm learning about it through you. I'm learning about it through the different people that you've introduced me to, how to make shit happen, Sean Whalen, all that type of stuff. I've worked hard my whole life.
Yeah.
Right? But you went out and grabbed it.
Well, I think what you have to look at, and the theme of all this is, my goal was to live in Lake Tahoe, having a little bit of a simpler life, make a living there with no expectations, of climbing the corporate ladder, right? Just working hard.
Right.
So what happens in that scenario, and I believe this happens with anybody, is people recognize hard work and passion, right, and goals. And when they see that in you, they gravitate towards you, right? You're putting that out in the environment.
Right.
And so for me, I made these moves and these jobs and elevated ultimately to the food and beverage director at one of the top ski resorts up there because I was willing to put in the hard work. It wasn't about superficial and pushing people out of the way. I was out there helping and supporting and integrating into the community, and it gave back to me in the form of a great job in a small town. And by the way, those jobs are super hard to come by in a small town. So I had probably one of the better jobs, in the town of 20,000 people there.
Right. So it's interesting that you bring that up about, just doing the hard work and everything like that. I feel like I've worked hard my whole life. I've had different jobs and everything with rodeo, ranching, I roughnecked on a drilling rig and everything like that. And every one I busted my ass. And, but those are just grinder jobs, right? Mm-hmm. Those are jobs where you're going to be in a position. You're going to be happy with that position. If not, you got to go somewhere else, right? Well, sure. You always went somewhere else, leaving in and out, minimum wage, and now you're at the top of the food chain again within how many months? A year? 2 years?
No, about 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. But, I just go back to how I was living my life and what my priorities were, and having that faith that the right things would come my way. And I don't think enough people have faith in their journey and themselves. And when you start to doubt yourself, let's just say I was at the buffet and I started to doubt my own abilities because I'm working for minimum wage on a Friday night grind, lobster night, which is, by the way, the worst night because everybody in town shows up and everybody wants cuts in line and they all want 2 or more lobsters. It just was one of the worst jobs, right? Okay. And then you got, all those dirty dishes from the buffet. Not pretty. But, let's just say I got down on myself and my dreams and my goals.
Angry people in the buffet line, too.
Yeah. I might have just got stuck there. I might not have shined in my job so that somebody from VIP services saw me. You know what I mean? And so that's my encouragement to others is do whatever job you are doing with passion and conviction and have that goal, your own personal goal in mind, because that's going to resonate. You're going to vibrate that out to the world. And, I've learned a lot about things coming through me to help others, and I believe that that's why these jobs came to me, to help others.
Well, that resonates with me very, very much when you say that because, law enforcement has changed. You have a family member in law enforcement and everything like that. And back in the day, it's completely different than it is today. Mm-hmm. It's completely different. And when I'm sitting up there, in front of my briefing, we have a daily briefing and everything before our shift. it's hard to polish a turd, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep the motivation. I'm up there trying to, you go through all the wanted people and this and that. And then, I try to go out of my way instead of waste time for 30 minutes, which our briefing is, and try to still continue this motivation. But it's difficult. It's difficult now. Society has changed about law enforcement, the view of the cops. You have a bad seed cop on camera doing what he shouldn't do. We all wear the same uniform. We're stereotyped as all being bad people. So it's hard to keep that motivation. That's one of the things that, you're going to help me with, being my neighbor, and try to help others who are in my position realize, hey, why did you get this job? Look yourself in the mirror. If you can smile, cool. If you can't, maybe you should find something else to do.
Yeah, I think it's important that we're all doing, the cliche of, do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. When that stops becoming true, you better start looking for something else, and it's out there. We should all be doing what we love. And I think that it's possible for people to find jobs that they love if they look hard enough. But at the same time, also look at your goal and your motivator for that job too. What is the motivator for you going to work every day? You got a beautiful little girl, and it'd be pretty easy for me to go work my ass off all day knowing that I'm doing it for her.
Well, 100%.
Right? I know that's who you are too.
Well, one of the reasons and I've said this in every interview that I've ever taken for the different agencies that I've worked for and stuff like that, is, hey, I want to be here in this society to take the bad people out so the good people can prosper, so that people can go for a walk in the park with their dog in the evening hours and stuff like that. And I'll be quite honest with you, there's not too many places that you can do that.
Yeah.
Not in California anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. So, you're the food and beverage guy, top of the food chain.
Yeah, having a good time.
And just as you call it, luck. By luck, you go out and surf or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You move back. Anyway, you went surfing, you put on a suit and tie, and you happen to sit down next to the main guy at Kettle One.
Yep.
I don't think that's luck. I mean, if it is, you should have played the lottery that day.
Yeah, maybe I did. I wound up moving out of Tahoe. My ex-wife just had enough of the mountains. I could have lived there forever. Well, that's why I'm back.
You're back.
That's why I'm back to the mountains. Mountain life, not necessarily Montana, but Lake Tahoe is almost like being on an island. Because you got to kind of off that mountain to get to anything. At least here in Montana, we got Costco down the road. Up there, it's hard. So we moved back to Southern California and back into the thick of it all. I was out surfing, and she'd call and say, "Hey, we got to do this fundraiser tonight." And I was happy to be seated next to the president of Kettle One. His name's Bill Aldean. Great guy.
Did you know him before that?
No, actually I didn't.
So it was just pure luck.
It's pure luck. That actually, to be honest with you, and this is a good lesson in life. The table that I was sat at was the workers' table. And what I mean by that, this was the Opera Pacific fundraiser for Orange County. Big black tie deal. Bacara was the title sponsor. When we left there, they gave us a $500 base, right?
What?
So you've got all the major donors. No, true story. All the major donors are there. And then companies that had contributed to the event, like Kettle One, Bacara, etc. My ex had worked for the property that the event was being held at. So they sat all the workers at the same table.
Got it.
Right? So here's the lesson. I'm with the workers. And here comes opportunity.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean?
And you seized that opportunity, obviously, because you ended up working for Kettle One. You were their main marketing, what do you call that?
Well, I was their vice president of PR and events
at
the end of my career there. But I was their first marketing employee, big company like that. They were focused on sales. They did have somebody that played the role of marketing, but he was a sales guy. He was out of Florida and didn't know the first thing about marketing. Those are his words, not mine.
Okay.
I took on that role and helped build the brand in the entertainment industry, working with people like Michael Bublé and just about every celebrity in Hollywood for various movie premieres and things like that. And all the way into government, we did a lot for the Secret Service and had the opportunity to meet President Trump when he was just a celeb then. And it was really a great thing. I think what's critical about the story, though, Justin, is that I'm an optimist.
I agree.
And, I could have been sitting at the workers' table looking across the room at what perceived to be the uber rich with envy.